and he stepped up.
Absolutely. A lot of eyes on that game strictly because Shedeur's there. So for as much as the people that don't like it, they're all watching. He's got a Floyd Mayweather appeal right now, the people that they don't like. The people that don't like him. Now, for us that are big-time Coach Prime fans, hey, welcome back, brother. Did you see him on that field? Back where he's supposed to be. And I enjoy Shedeur and the way he's handled it all, and the whole family, the way they operate. So for me to see him go out and do well, I think was cool. I think it was very cool. Now,
you think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are.
Absolutely. A lot of eyes on that game strictly because Shedeur is there. So, for as much as the people that don't like it, they're all watching. He's got a Floyd Mayweather appeal right now. That's why we are who we are. So, don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin. This isn't hype. This isn't some hot take artist reaching for clicks. This is a warning shot. And if you felt that Floyd Mayweather comparison in your chest for even a second, then you already know exactly where this is headed. Because the moment you hear someone say, love him or hate him, you're watching. That's not commentary anymore. That's a signal. That's the NFL telling you attention has shifted. And in today's league, attention is currency. Attention is leverage. Attention is how careers get accelerated or quietly stolen by someone else who sees the opening first. Let's be real for a second. A fifth-round quarterback is not supposed to dominate the conversation. Not in August, not in preseason, not in a league that barely gives those guys a second look. They're supposed to blend into the depth chart, get a couple of reps, maybe hang around, maybe not. That's the script. That's how it usually goes. But this blew straight through that script. Because it didn't matter if people tuned in to root for him or root against him. They still tuned in. They still watched every snap. They still clipped every throw. They still argued about him online. Love him or hate him, you're watching. Love him or hate him, you're talking. And the NFL notices that faster than fans ever do. This is where the critics get uncomfortable. They'll tell you it's just preseason. They'll say it doesn't count. They'll downplay the competition, the context, the moment. But here's the truth. They never want to say out loud, preseason doesn't matter until it does. Until a player forces the league to pay attention. Until the noise gets loud enough that front offices can't pretend they didn't see it. And that's exactly what happened here. Because teams don't accidentally start watching like this, NFL organizations don't waste time debating guys they think are irrelevant. Scouts don't lean forward in their chairs for nothing. Executives don't start asking quiet questions because of a box score. They do it because something felt different. Something clicked. Something didn't line up with the original evaluation. And that's what makes this moment dangerous in a good way. You could feel the tension immediately. Fans leaning in, defending what their eyes were telling them. Critics scrambling to explain it away before it grows legs. That push and pull, that's where real stories are born in this league. That's where narratives flip. That's where a player stops being a nice preseason story and starts becoming a problem for the people who missed. We've seen this before. We've watched quarterbacks get doubted, dismissed, minimized, right up until the moment a door cracks open and they kick it down. And every single time, it starts the same way with attention that feels disproportionate, uncomfortable, undeniable. This wasn't about one throw, or one game, or 1 week in August. This was about the league collectively pausing and saying, wait a second, are we sure? And when the NFL starts watching this closely, teams start making calls. Let's strip the noise away for a second and talk about where Shedeur actually stands in this league. Not the headlines, not the Twitter arguments, not the lazy labels people throw on him. Because the truth is uncomfortable. Right now, he's living in that dangerous middle ground of the NFL food chain. Low on the depth chart, limited reps, no guarantees, no long leash. The kind of spot where one bad series can erase 3 good weeks. And that's not an indictment of his talent. That's just the reality of being a late-round quarterback in this league. The NFL smiles at you, pats you on the helmet, and keeps the door half closed. We've seen this movie before. We've watched guys like Jalen Hurts get drafted into placeholder roles. We've watched Dak Prescott start as an afterthought. Brock Purdy was literally the last pick, and now he's a Super Bowl quarterback. This league loves to tell itself it's a meritocracy until draft status gets involved. Then, suddenly, opportunity matters more than performance. And that's where the contradictions start. Because listen to how the media talks about Shedeur. On one hand, they're praising the poise, the decision-making, the toughness under pressure. They're breaking down tape saying, that's NFL stuff. On the other hand, in the same breath, they're reminding you he's a fifth rounder. Like that label explains everything. Like it limits how far he's allowed to go. This league lies to itself about late-round quarterbacks. It tells you preseason doesn't matter, then uses preseason to decide who sticks and who disappears. It tells you reps don't matter, then never gives you enough reps to prove you belong. It's a system built to protect earlier investments, not reward late bloomers, and fans see it. Fans always see it first. That's why preseason reps do matter for guys like this. Not because they crown you, but because they expose you. They show how you process the field, how you react when the pocket collapses, how you command a huddle when nobody's supposed to be watching. Those moments aren't about stats, they're about survival. And when analysts start saying things like, he shouldn't have been a fifth rounder, that's not throwaway commentary. That's professional regret leaking out. That's people quietly admitting the evaluation might have been wrong. And in the NFL, once that seed is planted, it doesn't go away. Here's the difference nobody wants to say out loud. Draft value is about the past. Market value is about the future. Draft value tells you what teams thought. Market value tells you what teams are willing to risk now. And those two things drift apart faster than people realize. Fans recognize that injustice before teams do. We've watched enough careers get delayed, detoured, or wasted to know when something's off. And when a player performs without real support, without first-team reps, without ideal protection, without the benefit of belief that performance carries more weight than any scouting report ever could, and when you perform like that without real support, real franchises take notes. The doubt always shows up loudest right before the truth hits the hardest. Because as soon as Shedeur put something real on tape, the excuses came flying in. It's just preseason. He's playing backups. The system helped him. It won't translate. And that's when you know you've touched a nerve. That's when the conversation shifts from football to protection, protecting old evaluations, protecting draft status, protecting the idea that the league never gets it wrong. But here's the part they don't want to deal with. You don't get to choose the pressure you're tested under. You only get to choose how you respond to it. And Shedeur's entire football life has been pressure. People love to talk about his name like it's a shield. Like legacy somehow makes the hits softer. Like expectations don't weigh heavier when everyone's waiting for you to fail just so they can say, "See? Told you." The truth is, the name made it harder, louder, more unforgiving. Every mistake magnified, every success questioned. Go back to Colorado. Watch the tape without bias. He was one of the most pressured quarterbacks in college football. Blindside shots, free rushers, collapsing pockets that would have broken a lot of guys mentally. And he didn't flinch. He didn't fold. He kept standing in there and delivering the football. That's not something you learn in a preseason install. That's not something a system gives you. You don't fake toughness. Pressure exposes who you are. It strips away the script, the play call, the hype. It tells you whether a quarterback can think when chaos hits, whether he panics or processes, whether he bails or believes. Decision-making under chaos, that's the separator at this level. Arm talent gets you noticed. Processing speed keeps you employed. And that's why the veteran respect matters more than any tweet or talking head. When a guy like Myles Garrett takes notice, not because he has to, but because he wants to, that tells you everything. That's a locker room barometer. That's a defensive star saying, yeah, this dude's different. Respect in the NFL is earned snap by snap. You don't draft it. You don't inherit it. You earn it by how you carry yourself when nobody owes you anything. And that's the part people keep missing. The confidence isn't loud. It's not entitled. It's calm. It's awareness. Knowing what you did well, knowing what still needs work. And not pretending preseason football is something it's not, but also not apologizing for playing well. That balance? That's rare. Critics want him boxed in. Fans see a competitor sharpening under fire. Two completely different reads of the same player. And right here, right at this moment, the narrative is starting to tilt. Because toughness keeps showing up. Composure keeps showing up. Respect keeps showing up. And once that happens, the conversation changes. That's when this stopped being about potential and started being about leverage. This is where the chaos finally starts to make sense. Because once you zoom out, the Rams don't look reckless at all. They look calculated. They look patient. They look dangerous. Matthew Stafford is still playing high-level football. But nobody inside that building is pretending time isn't real. He's in his late 30s. He's taken hits. He's made his run. And the smartest franchises in this league don't wait until the wheels fall off to think about what's next. They plan the exit while the engine is still humming. That's how dynasties stay alive. This is where the Rams separate themselves from desperate teams, because not every system is built to elevate a young quarterback. Some demand raw athletic chaos. Others require perfect conditions. But certain systems, the rare ones, are designed for thinkers, for processors, for quarterbacks who win before the snap and survive after it. And that's where this fit starts to feel terrifyingly clean. A smart quarterback doesn't need to start right away to grow. In fact, the wrong start can ruin you faster than anything. We've watched it happen. Rushed into the lineup, bad protection, no patience, confidence shattered before it ever had a chance to harden. That's the shortcut teams take when they're panicking. The Rams don't panic. They've already lived through the benefit of patience. They understand the value of learning behind a veteran who's seen everything: blitzes, disguises, playoff pressure, Super Bowls. There's a difference between sitting because you're not ready and sitting because you're being prepared. One is neglect. The other is investment. And belief changes everything. Guaranteed belief, real belief, doesn't show up in press conferences. It shows up in planning, in patience, in money, in structure. Endless uncertainty is what late-round quarterbacks drown in. New coordinators, new plans, new excuses every offseason. That's how talent gets lost. But when an organization tells you, "We see you, we're building for you, just not yet," that's when opportunity finally meets preparation. This is how smart franchises buy early, before the price explodes, before the rest of the league admits the mistake. They don't chase the finished product, they secure the curve. They get there before the breakout becomes obvious. And when it works, everyone else pretends it was inevitable. Stability versus desperation. That's the choice. One path is constant competition, shifting priorities, and fighting for oxygen every training camp. The other is clarity, a role, a vision, time to sharpen without being crushed. One path burns quarterbacks out. The other turns them into long-term answers. And that's why this isn't just rumor-fueled chaos anymore. This is alignment, age, timeline, system, philosophy, belief, all lining up at once. So ask yourself honestly, if you were planning the future, wouldn't you make this call too? This is the part of the story where careers usually break one of two ways, and there's no middle ground anymore. Because from here on out, it's either stagnation or elevation. Either you stay trapped in the loop, fighting for scraps, waiting for the right moment that never quite arrives, or one door opens and everything changes at once. That's how fast it happens in this league. One decision, one belief, one franchise willing to move early instead of safe. And belief matters more than draft slot, every single time. The NFL loves to tell us it's patient, that it develops guys, that if you just keep your head down long enough, everything works out. That's a lie. This league doesn't reward patience, it rewards courage. It rewards teams willing to say, "We see something here, and we're not waiting for consensus." Because once consensus shows up, the price triples. The opportunity's gone. That's why this moment feels different. Not hypothetical, not clickbait, inevitable. Marketability, leadership, mindset. That combination is rare, especially at quarterback. You can have tools without command. You can have leadership without arm talent. You can have hype without substance. But when all three line up, when a quarterback brings eyes, respect, and composure, the league eventually bends in that direction. It always does. We've watched this movie play out before. Overlooked quarterbacks leaving situations that never truly committed to them. Finding one organization that believed early. One coach who tailored the system instead of forcing the player to disappear inside it. And suddenly the narrative flips. Suddenly the same people who doubted are calling it obvious. That's not luck. That's timing plus belief. And fans? Fans are always there first. We don't need permission to feel momentum building. We recognize the signs because we've seen them too many times. The tone change, the quiet praise, the speculative whispers, the way the conversation stops being, "Can he?" and starts becoming "where?" That's where we are right now. This isn't the peak. This is the opening chapter. This is the moment years from now people point back to and say, "That's when it turned." Not when the stats exploded. Not when the headlines caught up. But when one team decided to believe early instead of explaining later. So yeah, debate it. Argue in the comments. Tell me why it won't work. Tell me why it's risky. I want to hear all of it. That's part of what makes this fun. That's part of being fans. But don't confuse noise for direction. Because every great turnaround starts with one team believing early. And this one? It doesn't feel like a question anymore. It feels like the beginning. If you're watching this right now, you're not late. You're early. And trust me, this story is just getting started.